I am delighted to say I am live in Las Vegas with Sally and Ned from the Carpenter's Legacy. Hi, guys.
Hi.
Hi, thanks
How
for
Hey,
you?
having us.
how you
Not at
doing?
all. It's late there, yeah.
Yeah, it's after midnight. And for us, we're just getting started.
Have you been on stage tonight?
No, actually, we ended up taking this week off because it's the Formula One races.
Yeah,
Vegas, they did it last year for the first time, and after last year's experience, it's just better to. A lot of shows have closed down because it's really tricky with the traffic, and so we're at home getting work done.
wow. We were out there a few weeks ago, funny enough, and it's totally decimated Vegas, isn't it? I mean, we didn't see the fountains or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, the locals, a lot of us are not very happy about it because the traffic, unless you're here specifically to see Formula One, it's really tough because parking is expensive, hotel rooms skyrocket, and so it really hurts business. So yeah.
Absolutely. Right, let's talk about you guys then. This is a Vegas legacy. Like this is like something very special that you guys do. Tell me about your careers and what led you to getting together and putting this monster together.
Okay.
Yeah, I started performing as Karen in Vermont, where I'm on the East Coast, where I'm from, about 10 years ago. And it, this show really it started out as a one woman show, and it was kind of by a happy accident. My singing teacher at the time, and I was also helping him out running his business as the managing director for this voice studio. He noticed that my voice sounded a lot like Karen Carpenter, and he had suggested that I put together this one woman show. And having always loved the music of the 60s and 70s, this show quickly became a tribute to the Carpenters. And so I was a couple years into performing the show. So it debuted in 2015, and then by about 2017, I performed the show at a little theater in New York City on the Upper West Side called the Triad Theater. And it was through some connections that I made there that I was led to check out Las Vegas. And I needed somebody to play the role of the brother Richard. I was developing the show, and Ned and I were introduced, and he was really interested in the project. And basically, the rest was history. So then I made the big move from the East Coast up to the West Coast, to Las Vegas in April of 2018, and we've been working together ever since.
Wow. Wow. And right, Ned, ladies first, of course.
Yeah.
Ned, what about you?
So, yeah. So as she said, she when she came to Vegas, I've been performing here since 2000.
Wow.
I originally came from North Carolina and moved here after working a cruise ship in Hawaii. And I ended up my niche market before I met Sally was conducting a lot of shows. I worked with a lot of legends who have passed on now. I worked with Don Rickles
Wow.
and Joan Rivers,
Oof.
and my passion was conducting bands and orchestras, a lot of Rat Pack shows, Frank Sinatra, Sammy Davis, Dean Martin, that
Yeah.
sort of thing. And then when we met, we had a mutual friend who introduced us. I had a short stint doing a tribute to Jerry Lee Lewis.
Nice.
Well, so when I wasn't shaking my nerves and rattling my brain, right, I was conducting shows. And so, anyway, when she mentioned this thing with Carpenters, I was very naive about the complexity of it. So, I had a lot of studying to do. It's not just playing simple ballads. And we can get into more detail about that later if you like.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's very involved.
Wow. And it is, I think its simplicity is what makes it so wonderful, but actually it isn't. As you say, it's far from simple. And that's why it stands out amongst a lot of balladeers, let's be honest.
Yeah, what sounds simple, there's a lot of genius that particularly Richard put into it. That signature Carpenter sound, those jazz harmonies and all that. It's very complex to pull that off and to do it well. So we both had some very big shoes to fill.
Well, and fill them, you do. It's won awards, you name it. I mean, even you've even met Richard, haven't you?
We did back in April of this year. We were in Downey, California, for the Carpenters' 55th anniversary celebration. And a friend of ours who's met Richard several times uh, has close contact with Richard's personal assistant. And so she was able to get us this meeting. And so we were just so excited. And so we met him in Thousand Oaks, which is where he lives in the LA area. And he has a car collection museum there called Yesterday Once More. And so that's where we get to have the meeting.
Yeah. And what's interesting about that, if you want to hold Richard's attention, his two passions is music and cars. And I'm into classic cars myself. I have of course, being in Vegas, I have a pink Cadillac convertible.
Nice.
So we talked a lot about that. He's sold off a lot of his collection. He's down to only about 50 cars.
Only.
And he has a concert grand piano there, a beautiful Baldwin. And I was like, oh my God, I'm a big fan of Baldwin. So we talked about that. And he also has a special carpenter's room where he keeps all of his memorabilia, all of the awards they received. His whole wall is just this big history, including he framed a letter of Herb Alpert congratulating him on Close to You, hit #1. And so it was quite an honor just to be in his presence and for him to relive that history for us.
Wow, that is incredible. And especially because it must be, because of Karen, obviously, it must be so much more precious to him to keep that music alive. It must be.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so, absolutely.
Yeah, after we met with him, what was supposed to be about a 30-minute meeting went over 2 hours long because we were all enjoying ourselves. He signed a poster for us,
Wow.
Yeah. And I had a really, I have quite a collection, and I have a whole room at our house is dedicated to the Carpenters and our show. And so I have a number of Carpenters memorabilia pieces. And so I tried to think of, okay, what can we bring that he might sign for us? And I had this Carpenters, I think it was displayed at a record store in Ohio for the release of one of their early albums. And so I brought that with me, and he signed it, and he was, where did you get this? I'm like,
wow. And that's the dedication that you need to make it to where you are. So how did your show go from meeting up? You're doing Sally, you're doing Karen, and everything comes together. How does it go from that to Planet Hollywood? Because that's quite a jump, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Being from Vermont, and I started out the show with very humble beginnings. And it's funny because when I first started, I was interviewed by a paper in Burlington, Vermont, where I was living, and they did a little they have an annual cartoon issue. And so a cartoonist named Harry Bliss did a cartoon on me, and then they made a little story into it. And at the end, I kind of talked about how my dream would be to, perform in Las Vegas. And then fast forward several years, that ended up happening. So it's kind of crazy. But basically, once I got to Vegas and I started working together, we started getting the show booked like around the country and a couple one-offs here and there in Las Vegas. But we really wanted, to try to get a residency here in Vegas, since that's where we lived. And it's not easy. And a lot of people, want to get one. And there's way more shows out there than there are showrooms. So I guess it's a combination of luck and persistence and being in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, and kind of moving up from a small room, a tiny room, to a smaller room to a larger room. We started out, there was this small little, it was kind of a club, and I kind of helped convert it over to a small, like a 60-seat showroom called The Mint. And we put that together in hopes that maybe in 6 months we get picked up, and we got picked up in 2 weeks. Wow. Somebody heard us there. And so we went to another room off the strip, and we were there for 250 shows.
13 months.
13 months. Mm-hmm. And then Mr. Johnny Stewart, the founder, he's kind of considered the father of all tribute shows. He started Legends in Concert. Wow. And he heard us, and we struck a deal with him. And so he's our producer at the V Theater at Planet Hollywood. And we've been there. We just had our 200th show there last week. So now we've had in a residency, we've had over 450 shows now.
Wow. And it is phenomenal. I mean, so we've just got back, and it's an incredible show. Listen, what we're going to do is we'll split it in half. We'll come back and talk to you guys in a little while. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to put you on the spot. I'm going to put you on the spot and ask you to name your favorite Carpenter song. Then we can play it out. And then when we come back, we'll talk Vegas. We'll talk your new Christmas album and everything in between. How's that?
Okay.
Okay, great.
No pressure. No pressure.
one song for each of us, or
no, you have to work together, brother and sister.
Okay,
you
well,
have to pick
that's
one.
actually pretty easy for us.
That's easy. It's definitely Superstar.
Superstar, yeah.
Long ago, and oh so far away, I fell in love with you before the second show. Your guitar, it sounds so sweet and clear, but you're not really here. It's just the radio. Don't you remember you told me you love me, baby? You said you'd be coming back this way again, baby. Baby, 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 oh baby, I love you, I really do. Loneliness is such a sad affair, and I can hardly wait to be with you again. What to say to make you come again? Come back to me again and play your sad guitar. Don't you remember you told me you love me, baby? You said you'd be coming back this way again, baby. Baby, 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 oh baby, I love you, I really do. Don't you remember you told me you love me, baby? You said you'd be coming back this way again, baby. Baby, 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 oh baby, I love you, I really do.
Right, okay, so explain to me this then, guys. Why Superstar? Of all the songs, why that one?
It has such a powerful melody. The arrangements, oh God, it's just like the iconic perfect Carpenter song. The harmonies, everything, the message behind it. Wow. I don't know. What do you think, Sally?
Well, for everything that Ned said, but in the show, in our show, as far as songs that we perform, it's probably my favorite, or one of my favorite songs to perform in the show. And part of that has to do with just the beauty of the song, and also we have video projections throughout our entire show, so we're pretty much recreating the Carpenters' 1976 live performance. And so during that part of our show, well, in major chunks of our show, you have footage of Karen and Richard up on the screen, and then we're doing what we're doing. But I've watched these videos so many times that I'm doing a lot of the same movements and gestures as Karen. And I don't have to look at the screen because I've internalized it. And so when the audience experiences that, coupled with just the beauty of the song, we always get a huge reaction.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can tell as well when you're doing it, it's so authentic. I mean, it's the 70s on stage. It's so authentic. It's bordering on scary. It's that good, isn't it? I mean, you can't say that, but I can.
One of my fun moments in the show was when in Superstar, when the intro plays, Sally sits down and there's a moment where Karen adjusts her hair with her microphone. She does this little wave or flicker with it. Sally does the exact same thing at the exact same time. And you can hear people gasping like, oh my God, hey, look what she just did, you know, and we can feel the energy from the audience of that. So yeah, before we used to have, you know, just the show, but when we added the video, we really had to step up our game because people would look at the video screen and then look at us, particularly Sally, and she was like, oh my God, my hair has to be just like the video, my motions, my movements, you know, everything, you know. So it's made a better show by adding the video.
But back, oh, go ahead.
No, you carry on.
No, I was just gonna say, but back to the song Superstar. Yeah, it's just such a gorgeous song and just so melancholy, but so beautiful at the same time, and just really quintessential of that iconic Carpenters sound. And I think that's why we both love it so much.
Yeah. No, it's a great song. It really, really is. So take me behind the curtain then, because to us Brits, Vegas is a faraway land. Having been there a few weeks ago, I'm even repping my Vegas top for you. Look, I've even got my ice hockey top on.
Yeah, your hat too. I
just
see
for
that.
you two, no one else. So, having seen it through my own eyes, Vegas is a very, very special place, and you can't explain it to people unless they've been there. Take me behind the curtain. What's Vegas and a residency really like?
It is not all the glitz and glamour that people expect it, or that they think that we just walk in and we make music and sign autographs and go home. Well, that is true, except that's only about 5% of what we do. As a Las Vegas headliner, it's really interesting. People don't see all the backs of, like, for example, we're doing a story with you right now, and there's a lot of media, a lot of PR. I'm the music director of the show, and I arranged all the music. If you hear it, I do it. If you see it, Sally does it. She comes from an art background. She studied art in Italy. Has some really amazing visual art pieces that she has available after our shows. And so I wish it was like, okay, it's another day at the office. No, you never know what the challenge is going to be. You always have to be on your toes and have your best game, because I mean, you can go on a sound check and there can be a technical problem, and they're like, oh my God, hold doors 5 minutes. We got to figure this out. What's the problem? Or, you know, yeah, and there's days where it's crowded with people and we have to wait for that. Or there's a special guest in the audience we want to recognize. We never know. We can never rest on any laurels. And I think the most dangerous thing is when you've done a show hundreds of times like we have, is to relax too much on stage. People need to feel that energy and that edge, you know.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so you mentioned that there about special guests. Come on, drop some names for me. Who are the biggest people that have been to your show? Drop some names for me.
Well, some of them, you don't know them by name, but you know what they've accomplished.
Okay.
In fact, some of them actually, they want to kind of remain anonymous, but we've had Broadway producers in our audience before.
Wow.
Who've seen our show, and they like to keep keep things secret. There are people in a lot of the other shows.
Right, we have a lot of fellow Las Vegas entertainers who will come see our show.
Yeah, we all come to support each other. Yeah, and a lot of them, if they're really, really big, like we had the honor of seeing Barry Manilow a few months ago. It would be, hey, Barry, come see us. No, we don't play golf with him. We don't. We wish it would be at that level, but a lot of
he's a little busy. But anytime he wants to come see us, that'd be fine.
Yeah, a lot of them, they're at such a level that they're too busy, man, to do their thing, you know. But anyway, no, but we've been blessed by a lot of kind people who come out and support what we do, particularly when we have milestones like our 200th show we just had. Sometimes we'll bring out a cake, and have a little celebration,
Brilliant.
for what we're doing.
We've also had a lot of people who come to our show who are either friends with the Carpenters growing up in Downey, or just the other day we had some lady who said that she was in the children's choir for one of the Carpenters performances. I can't remember where in the country, but they, for Sing, they would get a children's choir and they had to audition kids, local kids. And this lady she was one of those kids. So a lot of really fun stuff like that, or people who worked with, we had somebody who worked with Paul Williams and Roger Nichols,
Yeah,
who the Carpenters covered quite a few of their songs.
a big fan of ours is Michael Lansing, who was Karen's personal assistant and their tour manager in 1976. And what was really fun at the beginning of our show, when we're not doing the holiday show, we recreate that moment where Richard has this tongue-in-cheek moment where he conducts to a reel-to-reel player of an orchestra.
Yeah.
And we do the same thing. I bring out a reel-to-reel. And the actual operator of the reel-to-reel was Michael Lansing. So one time when we were in California, I said, hey, wouldn't it be fun? Let's invite Michael to the show. He was our guest reel-to-reel operator, and we told the audience who he was.
Wow.
And in the video, you see Michael, a much younger Michael from 1976. He didn't have any gray hair. They looked like a young kid.
So he had hair.
Yeah, and he had. So,
versus not as
so it was quite an honor to have him, and we've met some other people by the scenes. Kobe O'Brien, who was the Carpenters drummer during all those live shows, we had the honor of meeting him, and as we talked about before, meeting Richard is the honor of a lifetime.
It's insane, and that goes as a testament to you guys, because we have a lot of tribute shows here. There's a lot of Carpenters tribute. I think there's a Carpenters Legacy knocking around here somewhere, a UK version. But honestly, having seen the videos, and it was so funny. We made the mistake, me and my wife. We went for our anniversary. It was my 40th, and the whole thing rolled in. And we made the mistake of booking everything in advance, thinking, panicking, because Vegas is so huge. And it's like, oh my God, we've got to book everything in advance. So we went crazy. We did the Raiders. We did the ice hockey, which I loved.
Yeah.
We went to see Tom Jones, Lionel Richie.
Cool.
We went all in, cost an absolute fortune. And then when we're walking around, you suddenly realize that, wow, there are so many great shows. There are some that were rubbish. Don't get me wrong, but there are you can't say that.
We know some of those. We know some of those too.
Some were terrible, but we were walking around, and then we saw yours. And what was hilarious, we were in a restaurant, and someone came up and went, "Have you been to see any shows?" Really friendly, you guys are all friendly. We love it out there. And he showed us a video of yours, and that's when I went, "Oh my God, they're insane!" And we had no days left. Absolutely devastated. So when Sally messaged me, slid into my DMs, as the kids say nowadays, I was like, oh my God, this has got to be a wind-up. This has got to be... So for me...
Wow, that's crazy.
I grew up with Sinatra, and I'm a massive Barry Manilow fan. We love the Carpenters. So to be doing this is sensational for me. Honestly, it's a thrill of a lifetime for me. It really is.
Well, I have a question for you. Why did you come all the way here to see Tom Jones? Couldn't you just go to Wales?
I know. Do you know what? It's so true. The hilarious thing is, it was a last-minute thing, because actually we booked to see a comedy show, David Spade, I think, on that day. I might be wrong. Okay. And we went to see Penn and Teller, went to see all the things that you like, bucket list things.
Yeah.
And then we booked David Spade and Nikki Glaser, I think it is, potentially. And last minute, literally, we were leaving like 2 days later, and it came up, Tom Jones, and we were like, oh my God, got to book it. So we booked it straight away. And again, phenomenal. But the next time we come out, we're going to not only we're going to come and see the show, we're going to come and hang out with you guys as well. That's a done deal.
I got a Tom story for you.
Go. About
15 years ago, I'd only been in Vegas about 5. I've been here. Actually, this coming May will be my 25th anniversary in Las Vegas. So we should have a party. There's a local pizza place called Capozzoli's, and that's where Tom famously used to like to go hang out after performing at the MGM. And so a lot of times the restaurant took advantage of that. They would spread a rumor, hey, Tom's coming tonight, whether he was showing up or not. So the place would be packed of people, and there's a live band playing. They're hoping he might come in and someone will persuade him to sit in and do a song. And there's been a lot of no-shows as well. So anyway, I was playing with a band there, and the rumor, hey, Tom's coming tonight. He's at MGM. He's going to come after the show. Sure enough, he shows up. And I happened to, I went in the car and I got my trumpet. I'm also a trumpet player.
Wow.
And so he got on stage, and he, people wanted him to sit in. Everyone started hollering, hey, let's hear What's New Pussycat, Delilah. And he was so funny. I can't begin to do his accent, of course, but he was like, if you want to hear my hits, you got to buy a ticket, So he was singing Sinatra tunes. He wouldn't sing any of his hits. He made it clear, if you want to pay like $200, you could come hear me there, but I'll sit in do my stuff. So of course, he was doing "Fly Me to the Moon, let me play," and everyone and all the young ladies went, they just went crazy, Anyway,
Wow.
it was just the funniest thing. And I had a picture with him, and to this day, the guy won't give it to me, so I don't know where he is. But anyway, that was my Tom Jones story. I thought it was
That is insane. Right, okay. We've done Vegas, we've done the Carpenters. Let's talk about Christmas, because Christmas is a big thing with the Carpenters, and you guys have got your own. And I think this is amazing. Honestly, I really do. I think to have the balls, as we would say in the UK, to replicate the Carpenters anyway, which is, I think, because of Karen's story, it's such a difficult thing to do, isn't it? I mean, it's not just a normal tribute. And even Elvis, to a point, there isn't the emotional connection that Karen's got. There's something very, very special, and you guys do it as well as anyone in the world. What's it like putting together a Christmas album where there's an argument that people will say, well, I'll buy the original, but then you've also done your own Christmas song, which is incredible. It's so like Richard and Karen are in the building. It's that good. Tell us about the new album.
Thank you for that, by the way. That's some kind words there. We had just finished our Christmas holiday, and it was January, and I was sitting at the piano, and we were both talking about, when is the last time we heard a brand new Christmas song that has the potential to become like the new standard, the latest Christmas? Because every time you hear an album, there are some songs, but nothing has really stuck in a long time. Everyone is still singing Jingle Bells and Silent Night, and they're all wonderful songs. Everyone loves White Christmas and all that, but there hasn't been a brand new song.
And yeah, it's brand new, but it has that nostalgia to it, so it's very timeless.
Yeah,
that's what
yeah,
was going.
Yeah, where you could hear the melody rather than. No, I don't want to do that. So what can I do to make it memorable and make it about family and good times? So I sat at the piano and I started experimenting with it. And I thought, I took that thought process another level. Why don't we make it in the style of the Carpenters? What would Karen and Richard be recording today if they, as a brother and sister duo, still churning out hits, right? So I started experimenting with it, and our personal stories, the fact that we're both from the East Coast of the United States. She's from Vermont up in New England. I'm from the South, and North Carolina, by the way, is a southern state. But anyway, we're both from small town areas, right? But we're living in Vegas, a city of over 2 million people. So when I was composing this and working with the melody and the words and the structure, I composed both the words and the music, is every holiday we have this dilemma where we're out in the city and our families are out in the country, but we still want to have our family in spirit. And that's how Christmas Time with You came about. And so it's about that same holiday season and people singing along and having fun. And so if we can't be with our families, at least we have each other. So if there's no one else but to have Christmas Time with You. And that's the story behind the song.
And it's got all the classics on there as well. Merry Christmas, Darlings on there, Sleigh Ride, the Christmas song. So you've got all the classics and that one. And I've got to tell you, it's not out of place. It really isn't. It's as accurate a Carpenter's song as you're ever going to
Oh.
get. Honestly, it's such a good song. It really is. It's so good. And we're going
Thank
to play
you.
it out at the end. But first,
Thank
before
you.
we do that, I want to know how your show's going to change. Because obviously it's very 70s. It's very, how do you keep coming up with things? I know Christmas, it will change, obviously. You can have, Christmas trees up and God knows what else. But how is your show going to evolve? Because obviously with the Carpenters, for obvious reasons, there's a limit. But how does that show evolve over time for you guys?
Yeah, well, I mean, when Ned and I got together and we revamped the show from what I was doing as a one-woman cabaret show, we both decided that we wanted to go with replicating their 1976 show. But with that said, we've made a lot of changes over the years, and a lot of it has to do with things that, we've done a certain thing for a while, and then we're like, you know what, that's not really working, or we get feedback from the audience, and then we kind of like, well, if the audience doesn't really like it, then maybe we should scrap that. And with that, so yeah, we've made some changes, and to make it more and more of something that is not only something that we love, but that the audience will also love. And we're actually planning on adding some new songs into the show in 2025. We just added a song for you, and it's quite possible that we'll also be adding Bless the Beast and Children, All You Get from Love is a Love Song, and Now.
Yeah, and a couple of changes we made. Unless you are a very hardcore Richard Carpenter fan or historian about that, or about the Carpenters in general, there were some things in the show that we put in that people who just had a basic knowledge of it would kind of look like, what? Richard had a very interesting, dry sense of humor. He was a big fan of Spike Jonze. And anybody under age 50 goes, okay, who the hell is that, right?
We have some people would say, like, why are you butchering the Close to You? Why are you doing it to that song?
Yeah.
Like, well, it's what they did.
Well, the Carpenters did this comedy version of Close to You with bells and whistles and squeaks. Why do birds suddenly hear honk honk? And everybody under like 40 or 50 goes, huh? So, and because we still have people, I wish you would play this song and that. So, although our original business model, if you will, was to stick with their hits from their 1976 tour, we've kind of taken some license and taken it further. We've also expanded our show. We originally started out with 3 musicians. Sometimes we do it as a duo. In a residency, it's intimate. It's just me and Sally in a piano.
And full video walls. So
full video
really
of everything.
Makes it.
And so now I've expanded to include a mini orchestra. In fact, one of my favorite things is when we do Superstar. I scored it for a string section with violins.
And it's called the Superstar Orchestra.
We call it thank you. The Superstar Orchestra with violins and cello and a horn section. And we're bringing that to the Downey Theater on November 30th, where the Carpenters are from. We've sold that out before.
And we're going to have our world debut live performance of Christmas Time with You at that show.
Yeah.
And it is paying off. There's all the awards that you guys have got. Let me tell you, it's well deserved. It really is. It's a sensational show. And if you are in Vegas, let's do the professional bit. If you are in Vegas, you guys have got a residency at the V Theater, Planet Hollywood. That even sounds cool. Like, it sounds cool. Honestly, you guys are levels of cool. Let me tell you. Right, let's wrap it up then. Let's talk about the album. So the Christmas album, Carpenter's Legacy, Christmas Time with You. Where can people get this? Where, especially in the UK, I want to know. Where can you get this?
It's available on all streaming platforms, the digital version. We do have CDs that will be arriving soon, but they're not on Amazon or anything like that. So we're shipping them out literally ourselves. So mostly I encourage people to check out all major streaming platforms like Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, all the above.
And although we couldn't release it this year, we did a very special limited edition of 2 copies, and I did it as a Christmas gift for Sally.
Wow!
We have 2 copies of a special album directed disc that we had done.
Look at that.
Just so we could play it on our video.
We were listening to it tonight, for the first time.
It costs 8 times more to produce a vinyl album than it does a CD. It's very stupid expensive.
Wow.
And so
we're probably going to do vinyl next year. We ran out of time this year.
That is insane. And for the kids watching and listening, that's a giant CD. Because they have no idea, do they? Literally, it's a giant.
Put a needle on your CD, though.
They're not even sure what a CD is anymore. You show them a CD, and they're like that. Nah, no
I know
idea.
everything's digital. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. It is great. Well, I will be messaging you for a signed CD. So that is going to be happening.
Oh,
You got it.
I absolutely love the show. I love you guys. Thank you so much for your time. Will you do me a huge honor as we play this out? Sally and Ned, Richard and Karen, of course. Will you do me the honor of introducing your Christmas single, please?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This
Okay.
is Christmas Time with You, composed and arranged by Ned Mills for Carpenter's Legacy.
Wow. You're legends. Thank you so much for your time, guys.
Thank
you, Dougie.
Bless
you
you.
so-
Take care.
Outside snow is falling, the family is calling because we live too far away. We live in the city, they're out in the country, a home many miles away. But Christmas is that time of year when hopes and dreams come true. There's no one else I'd rather spend my Christmas time with you. When church bells are ringing and carolers singing, you know it's that time of the year. The candles are glowing, our memories growing, a family and friends through the years. 'Cause Christmas is that time of year when hopes and dreams come true. There's no one else I'd rather spend my Christmas time with you. With joy and laughter and being together, our hearts will all beat as one. This holiday season, for every reason, we share all our love with a song. 'Cause Christmas